that means one thing. Steve Moskowitz in the house, our favorite lawyer.
Thank you.
Talking a little NFL, NFLPA, mudslinging, going back and forth.
Nothing like some mudslinging,
right?
But as lawyers, we understand that.
Exactly. You know all
Part
about
of the
that.
game.
It is right
That's
down
right.
your lane.
We don't defend innocent people, but some of the bad guys do things.
So we know Ezekiel Elliott suspended 6 games. He, of course, is appealing that. And in that appeal, the NFL basically yesterday issued a statement saying that the NFLPA has been engaging in leaking derogatory comments, basically victim shaming. The ex-girlfriend of Ezekiel, who claims he hit her in numerous domestic assault claims. And then the NFLPA called the NFL owners liars. Now, what is transpired since then is the executive committee member, Lorenzo Alexander, of course, played here in the Bay Area.
Local guy.
He's a Cal kid, and now he's playing with the Bills.
East Bay guy all the
he
way.
used the word slander. And most people say that word does not come out unless you're thinking about possibly suing for suing the league. Does that mean, like, when you hear someone actually use the word slander, are we looking at some legal battles brewing between the two sides?
It could be. There's a lot of posturing, too. I mean, when I was first reading this stuff, I thought I was reading the day's political report. I said, wait, there's sports now. And, you know, it's all getting the same. And what happens is there's so much posturing and threatening, and I'm going to do this unless you do that. And in reality, it just really boils down to so much lesser when the allegations come. Now, they could. But then again, if you make that allegation, truth is a defense, and then there's a problem that allegations have been made. And also one of the problems in sports now is sports, and again, I certainly abhor any type of domestic violence. However, like so many other things, we have an accuser and we have the accused. And so many things are put out, and the problem is, what if the allegations are not true? What if it's a setup for a civil lawsuit and lots of money? On the one hand, we don't want to impinge on somebody's rights, but on the other hand, both parties have rights. We weren't there. We don't know what happens. And then battles are fought out, you know, in the media, and you said this and you've said that. Leaking, once again, sounds like the White House and military secrets. But what really happened, we'll never know. So if we get to a lawsuit, then the jurors will decide. And also one of the things with the league is now, regardless of law enforcement, they punish guys anyway. So you see when the police say, you know what, we're not interested, or false statements were made, the league doesn't care. And the problem is usually in law and so many things, the pendulum swings so much. You know, in the old days with domestic violence, if the police were called, they'd say, oh, that's your husband, why'd you call us? And they'd go, which is one extreme. On the other extreme, if there's nothing at law that someone's being charged with, you know, still say, well, you can't play 6 games, and also, you know, hurting somebody's career. So again, we have to remember, as a lawyer, there's two sides to these things.
Yeah.
From what I understand, I mean, the league did an investigation that took over a year. Their report was 160 pages. And from what I understand, within that report was both blaming Elliott for possible domestic abuse, but also a number of charges in which Tiffany Thompson is her name, apparently said things either through text messages or in front of others that indicated that she was going to be malicious in terms of going after Ezekiel Elliott and telling him she will ruin his career and so forth. So if the information is in this report and it's reflecting poorly on both sides, I'm not sure. I mean, why is there... How can one side point to the other and say it's your fault, your fault? I don't know how you can gain from that.
Sit in any courtroom and all day long you say, Monty, this is all your fault, and you point and you say no, and then somebody has to decide, you know, who they're going to believe. And again, the problem is that somebody says, I'm going to ruin you, and the problem with these athletes, they have a target.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, somebody could make, and again, I wasn't there, I don't know what happened, can make false allegations. Okay, get your checkbook out, give me lots of money. On the other hand, a lot of times the athletes use it to say, hey, you know, I'm so-and-so, come with me. So it's not, I'm not saying that either party is absolutely innocent.
Yeah.
So so, you know, the NFL or the NFLPA could go after the NFL and basically force them to back up their claim with proof that the union did leak some of the information from that 160-page report and was trying to, you know, go after the victim, shame her, look like she was, you know, at fault. Could now Tiffany Thompson and her lawyers say, okay, my reputation is now being slandered. Could they also, in fact, go after the NFL and say, we want to see this proof you guys have because we want to now sue the union?
Sure, anything's possible, but again, truth is defense, and it might backfire where somebody says, well, look, you were just setting all the, and again, I don't know what happened,
right,
but you're just setting this up for the civil lawsuit, because typically when you see these, all the athletes, first there's the criminal allegations, and then comes the lawsuit, and you're going to lose endorsements, you're going to get suspended. So again, the problem is we weren't there. No one knows what really happened between those parties.
In your estimation, do you really think there's a good chance that this will end up in a courtroom?
Probably not, because I think both sides say, you know, there's a lot of things I really don't want you to know, because there's something called discovery, where a lot of dirt comes out. And, you know, so you know what, I'd rather not be making a statement under penalty of perjury. Let's go in the back room someplace and hammer out a deal. That's what usually happens. It's the beginning part where I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Usually, in most cases, it doesn't wind up that way.
Well, next week we might be asking you about this next case because we do have some breaking news. Oakland Raiders cornerback Sean Smith has been charged with assault on his sister's boyfriend in Old Town, Pasadena. This according to the L.A. County District Attorney's Office. We're going to talk about that next on Happy Hour. As for Steve Moskowitz, we may be talking about this next week with you for some clarity.
I will look forward to it and tell you what's going to happen.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Steve.